Hey everybody, Rob here. It's time for a brand new malicious compliance story. Outdoor recess really isn't that important to me. Let's jump right in. Hey, did you know 71% of you aren't actually subscribed to the channel? Please hit that subscribe button for more daily Reddit stories. Background: I went to a Catholic school that had the traditional uniform every guy dreams about for some reason. White shirt, plaid skirt. Our uniform rules were strict about everything: shoe color, sock color, jewelry, etc. And in those rules, it was clear that the girls could wear tights under their skirts, but nothing else was permitted. No leggings, no sweatpants. Yoga pants weren't a thing back then, but they'd have been out of the question too. Your choices were bare legs, pantyhose, or tights. So when winter rolled around, we were cold, like all the time. The school was a big old marble and limestone monstrosity, so it was drafty and chilly. And we were just cold. To this day, I'm still always cold when I shouldn't be, and I wonder if years of being too cold just set in somehow. Anyhow, on to the story. Guess what else is cold in winter? Outdoor recess. What sadistic, evil jerk of a man thought it was a good idea to force children to play outside in the cold without protective layers is beyond me. But that was the school policy. The boys got pants and blazers, so they were always warm enough, though they might catch a chill. And yes, we could take our jackets, but imagine being outside in a winter coat and a knee-length skirt. The coat was only helping so much. While the boys played, we girls would huddle next to sewer grates and storm drains in the area, trying to stay warm by the steam. Or if a delivery truck was on campus, we'd lean against the engine to leach some of the heat. I don't know how the faculty could watch this and just not care, but they never did. Edit: we did have indoor recess, but only if there was precipitation. And I don't mean expected bad weather, I mean there had to be something actively falling from the sky when they flung the doors open. If it just finished snowing 2 inches before we went out, too bad. If it started raining 5 minutes after it started, too bad. Then we got to 5th grade, and they wanted to teach us responsibility. This meant not just grades affected when we missed homework, but punishment as well. I wasn't aware of the new rules until I missed my first homework assignment. I don't remember why I didn't do it, just that it was an honest mistake. Maybe I left the book I needed at school. Maybe I forgot we had an assignment, I don't know. But that first case was totally accidental. So I come to class and don't have my homework. The teacher tells me to see her after class. Okay, she tells me per the class contract I signed at the beginning of the year, since I didn't do my assignment, I have to stay late and eat lunch when everyone else has already gone out to recess, thereby missing recess. I was bummed out, but oh well, that's what I get for screwing up. But then I served my punishment, and it was great. Everyone was done eating, so there was no line in the cafeteria. The lunch ladies were just packing up and felt kinda bad for me, so a few of them asked if I wanted extra of anything. I found a seat in the entirely empty cafeteria and realized it was nice to eat in silence instead of the cacophony of hundreds of other students. Still, lunch and recess were our only real chance to socialize all day, and I wanted to catch friends I didn't have any morning classes with, so I asked the teacher in charge of lunch detention if I could go outside, since technically the punishment was late lunch, not missing recess per the rulebook. She declined and said that the late lunch was a means to take away recess as a punishment, so I had to stay in the whole time. Okay, I get it. I'm the one who screwed up. And that was that, or so I thought. I spent the next couple months being a diligent student and turning in my assignments. But then the weather began to turn cold. Our recess conversations began to tilt to the same topic they did every year. Who had found a new source for thicker tights than we had worn last year? We had gotten quite creative, and though we hated the look, most of us had a giant stash of cable knit tights. Think of a knit sweater on your legs. The problem with knitted wear is the holes though, so though we looked warm, we still froze. Then one day I missed another assignment and the same punishment ensued, and I had an idea. If I just didn't do my homework anymore, I'd get lunch detention every day, and I wouldn't have to go outside in the cold. I'm a genius. So I stopped doing my homework in my class with the nicest teacher. I'm not entirely stupid, but I was in 5th grade, so not smarter than the adults around me yet. After like 3 days, the teacher pulls me aside and says, if I don't have my homework tomorrow, she's calling my mom. Crap. Next day, I have my homework for that class, but I skip another, and that gives me my idea. The rules say that if I miss my homework in any class, I get lunch detention that day, unless it's already after lunch, and then the detention applies to the next day. So if I'm careful about which classes I skip the work in, I can stagger my missed assignments enough that the teachers will just think I'm flaky, but not doing this on purpose. So that's what I do. Some days I miss a morning assignment, so I get detention that lunch. Other days, I'll miss both a morning and afternoon assignment, so that covers lunch that day and the next. 4 classes in the morning, 4 afternoon classes. I could stagger and randomize just enough. I kept this up for about a month or so when the teachers must have started comparing notes, or the lunch detention crew began to wonder why I was always in trouble. I wasn't sure what flagged the system, but Mom got called. Why isn't OP doing her homework? Is something going on at home that we should know about? Is she under any stress we haven't been informed of? Is she struggling with any subjects? Remember, posh private school. They want to be seen as caring, just not about us freezing to death. So Mom sits me down. Why aren't you doing your homework? And I explain to her about being cold, about how the punishment of a quiet, late, solitary lunch with a good book in the warm cafeteria is way better than a loud lunch followed by a cold recess that I never really got warm from for the rest of the day. I explained to her my system and that I was still getting good grades on my tests. I understood the subjects and I wasn't skipping things that I needed to work on. But I didn't see how there was a downside. I was doing less work but maintaining my grades. I got to stay warm. I, an introvert, got to eat in a quiet space for my meal, and the school was unwilling to offer any alternatives. Gotta give Mom credit. Not only did she admit that I made complete sense, she told me she was proud of me. They had created the system and the rules. I had disagreed with them, found a way to live within their system, and get everything I wanted. Here I was, 10 years old, and I was navigating bureaucracy better than most adults. She called the school and insisted on an in-person meeting with my principal and my homeroom teacher. She basically laid it all out. My daughter says that she and her friends were reprimanded and made to take off their clothes in front of the class when they tried to wear leggings and sweatpants outside to recess. Is this correct? Principal stammers, I thought we were here to discuss homework issues. We'll get to that. Apparently, when the girls wear anything but socks, pantyhose, or tights, even outside during recess, they are reprimanded, and if they try to wear them indoors during class, they are made to take them off right there in the classroom. Is that correct? Well, yes. So, I just want to get this on record. My daughter was willing to sit in this cold building all day in your dress code and only violated it when she was outside in the freezing winter temperatures, and you decided that her health wasn't as important as your dress code. Well, they're outside, you see. Anyone driving by can see the schoolyard, and to have all the kids out there wearing whatever, like their bright, colorful, puffy winter jackets they're already wearing on top, it's our policy to teach these ladies to look like ladies, to prepare them for adulthood. So you refuse to change your dress code policy about what the girls can wear outside on their legs? Yes, I'm sorry, that won't be changing. Then my daughter won't be doing her homework. Shocked looks. She doesn't want to go outside, but if she does her homework and asks to stay in, you tell her no. When she goes outside, you won't let her wear warm clothes. So she stopped doing her homework because it's the only way she can find that you'll allow her to stay warm. I fully support her system. Mom then explained my system to them and how if they weren't willing to change the rules, I was going to continue to abide by their rules, and there was nothing they could do about it. I wasn't failing any classes. I wasn't hurting anyone or disrupting other students. I was just enjoying something that was meant to be a deterrent. and they had no idea how to handle it. She told them that she couldn't think of one good reason I should comply and do my homework. If it was getting me nothing but benefits and zero drawbacks, then what reason did I have to keep up with my homework? The principal was stunned. You mean that right here in my office, you're giving your daughter permission to not do her homework? My mom turned to me and said, if you keep your grades up and you let me review your system, and I approve of how often you're missing each class, you have my blessing to skip homework, just enough to stay indoors for recess. No abusing the system. It's a stupid rule, and I'm proud of you for finding a solution. She looked back at the principal. Does that answer your question? The principal looked back stunned but said nothing, eventually nodding and letting us go. After all, what could they really do about it? That's kind of it for the main story, but there's more for those who like a good long read. I kept up my routine for another few days, and that's when one of the lunch monitor teachers came over and told me if I could eat a little faster, she'd let me run out and play with the other kids. I thought that was odd, but told her, no thanks, I actually prefer it in here to out there. She looked bummed, but didn't say anything. Then, like 2 minutes later, she chimed in again, and I knew who had ratted me out. Well, you see, hun, you're in here on detention every day. I have to be in here with you to make sure you're not misbehaving, and that means I don't get to go outside with the other teachers and chat. Every day, one of us has to stay in here with you and miss out on the one time of day we all get to socialize. So, I'll make you a deal. If you eat quick and hurry out there, you can still get a few minutes of recess and I can chat with the other teachers. Aha! So that's what got me pinched. Now I wasn't just annoyed, I was pissed. They called my mom and got me a conference with the principal, all so they could have their lunchtime gossip session. I looked her straight in the eyes and said, you can go and play with your friends when you change the dress code or the weather gets warmer. Just cold, emotionless. To this day, I get shivers thinking about the way I delivered that line to her. She backed away and didn't bring it up again. When I told my genius mom about the incident that evening, she laughed and suggested I explain my system to the other girls I knew also hated being cold. I didn't understand the gleam in her eye at the time. I was only 10 after all, but I did tell my girlfriends what was up as I had been keeping it a secret to stay out of trouble. But now that my mom and the school knew, why hide it from my friends? So I told all the girls I usually bitched with about why I kept missing my homework and staying in for recess. Before I knew it, we had a small indoor recess group, all of us rotating through skipping homework just enough to keep us inside every day. This went on all winter until the weather warmed up and we were happy to go outside again. The next year, when things got cold again, I was pulled aside and asked if I thought an indoor recess option might suit some students, and that if we could keep the volume down, we were welcome to stay in the cafeteria after lunch while others went outside. The second year was much the same, only we didn't have to skip homework. We were just allowed to stay inside if we wanted to. On warm days, no one did, but on cold days, all the girls would stay inside and the boys would be outside. Yay for blazers and pants. We were a gender-separated school, so the only time the hormonal boys even got to see the girls was recess. It wasn't long before they were complaining that the girls never come outside for recess, but they didn't always want to be inside. And it was stupid that the dress code kept even the girls who liked outdoor stuff inside because they'd rather be warm. By the time we reached 7th grade, they reworked the entire uniform. We had summer and winter uniforms. The girls could wear pants and button-down shirts in winter months, and they even designed us school sweaters so we could stay warm. And that is the story of how my little 10-year-old self changed the entire uniform code at a 100-years-old private school. Well, OP, I think it's pretty obvious from the way your mom handled that situation that being a badass just happens to run in your family. OP mentioned down in the comments that they were becoming an entrepreneur, and I think that somebody that thinks outside of the box like they did at 10 years old is probably a perfect person to run their own business. Good luck, OP. I'd like to thank OP for posting their story to the Malicious Compliance subreddit. You can visit them at the links in the description below. Please go there and give them an upvote. Once again, this is Rob from Karma Comment Chameleon saying thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share it with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.